Hi Barbara. It turns out the format in which you've received these files on these CDs is a little bit complicated. So I am going to go ahead and show you, as I do this process, I'm going to go ahead and just turn on my recorder and tell you what I'm doing. I had thought that maybe Windows Media Player could handle taking the CD, you put it in the disk drive, and you go into Windows Media Player and you tell it to rip the files. And in ripping from a CD to your computer, you can oftentimes convert. You can do that a lot of the times with Windows Media Player. You can rip and in the process convert. You can do that with iTunes. But with this format, WMA, you can't really do that at this time with Windows Media Player. You have to actually get an outside program. There's one called Switch that I'm noticing people are recommending, but I'm going to actually talk about the one that I've used on at least 2 or 3 of my computers in the past, over the past 2 or 3 years. I use this one because it's promoted through CNET or download.com. So if you go to CNET, in fact, how do you search for this? Well, CNET, I'm going to type in CNET Jodix, J-O-D-I-X, and that should get me to the same page. Okay, that doesn't work. I'm going to type in CNET, so that's C-N-E-T, free WMA MP3 converter. There we go. Click that first link that should pop up, and that'll take you to this page where I'm going to download this converter, and I'm going to show you how I convert these files into MP3. So I'm going to click download now. So the tool is called free WMA to MP3 converter. I've clicked the download now. I'm waiting for a folder, an option to download the file to pop up. It's coming. Okay, it popped up over here off screen. I'm going to drag it over here so you can see it. I'm going to save file. See, when you click to download something, you just wait. Once you've clicked the download button, you wait for that thing to pop up, as it did. You don't click any of this stuff. They're hoping you'll click all this other stuff and get distracted and go look at advertisements and stuff. Alright, so it came into my downloads. I'm going to double click this executable file to install this program. I've double clicked an executable file to install a program on my computer. Download.com comes with an installer. I'm just kind of making sure that it doesn't add anything else to my computer that I don't want. They have a special offer. I don't want this. I'm going to click I do not accept, and I'm going to the next step. It's downloading my software. I'm still looking to see if they're trying to install other things on my computer because I don't want anything else except for Jodix converter. It says it's working. And once we get past installing this tool, it works pretty quickly, and I'll try to show you that it works pretty quickly. I'm going to go ahead and pause you. I had noticed that the
setup language needs to be selected. Alright. I'm going to click Next. I'm going to accept the agreement. Click Next. Next. It wants to put it in program files. That's great. Next. It wants to put it in that folder that it creates. Great. It wants to create a desktop icon. I don't like desktop icons, so I'm not going to let it. Click Next and Install. Alright. And now it wants to launch it. So go ahead and do that. It says there's no disk in the drive. Please insert a disk into drive. Okay? Because that's one of the first things that Jodix wants to know is what disk are we going to take these WMA files from to convert to MP3. So before I click try again, I'm going to go ahead and put this disk into my drive right now. This is the first one. Right? So it's whirring, it's spinning. I'm going to say try again. It's probably still whirring and spinning. Should I click try again now? One more time. I'm going to say cancel. Cancel. Alright, looks like it's opened because I know this tip of the day popped up and I don't want to see the tip of the day, so I'm going to say okay. All right, so now there's my converter. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of these other distractions from the background. Okay. And actually, my desktop's a little bit busy, isn't it? Okay, so while you're on pause, I quickly cleaned up my desktop so it didn't look quite so messy. So this is Jodix, and what we want to do is we want to add files. So remember we have our CD in the drive, and we want to take those files, have Jodix turn them into something else, and then we're going to resave. We're going to save the new files on our computer. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to click Add Files. It wants to select those files to convert. I'm going to Computer, and then I'm going to go to this DVD RW drive D. I'm going to go into the March recordings, and I'm going to select all by hitting Control A. And I'm going to hit Open, and I'm going to pause you. And this is where the input file is on the D drive, and this is something you're going to have to change because we can't put output. The output's the new MP3. We can't put that on our CD. We want to put it on the desktop of the computer, somewhere in a folder. So this is where I'm going to change that detail. I'm going to go to the desktop, and I'm going to create a new folder called, I'll call it CD, 1. We'll just call it that for now. You can give it a better name. I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to save all the new files. And I'm going to click Next, and Next, and OK. Would you like to use the same settings to other files? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to see if that works. I think that will work. It'll keep all the same names for the new output, but the new output, instead of being WMA, will become WMV. I'm sorry, will become MP3. All right. So it's got this task list generated. These are all the WMA files that are about to be converted. They'll probably have the same name again, like I've said, like WS 5063 will be, whatever, it will be their name, but it'll be an MP3 when it's created. So let's just see if this works. I'm going to hit Start, and then it's going to work, and I'm going to go off to lunch. And so I'm going to pause you, and when I get back from lunch, we'll see if it actually worked. I'll check the work. But it should do it as a batch. It looks like it's going to take a bit of time, because right now it's on the first file, and it's only 5% of the way through. So it looks like each file will take several minutes. All right, so we'll see if it worked. I'm going to go have an egg and some veggie sausage and an English muffin, and I'll be back and check on the progress. Okay, so I'm back from lunch. I feel much better now. So we've got here a message. It says all files have been converted successfully. Would you like to open the output folder for viewing output files? Yes. All right, remember we called it CD1, and now you see that all these different audio files have the same names, but now they end in MP3. Now on your computer, or whoever's watching this, you may not see that ending of MP3, because on my computer I have my folder settings such that my file types show. And if you don't know what kind of file it is, you can hover over it and see how we've got this little gray item type message. That should show you the properties. If that doesn't work, you can always right click something and go to Properties and just double check to make sure it's the right type of file. Alright, so I'm going to double check in one other way, because I just, I'm obsessive about files. So this is the program. I can actually close this down probably. I'll close the Jodix converter. And here's the folder. Let's see, I'm going to put it somewhere you can see it. It's not very visible there. There we go. I'm going to double check one more time. And indeed, we've got MP3 files. Test one, make sure it works.
It's working. Okay, it is. Excellent. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, it works. That's working. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to comment on. The next question is, how do we give this to the doc students that are online. And my idea is to use the University of West Georgia web space that I have and upload it there as a zip folder if the Dropbox doesn't work. So before we put it in Dropbox, then let's just go with Plan A, which was Dropbox. Let's highlight all of these. I'm hitting Shift, highlight them all, and we are going to look at the properties again. And that's 766 megabytes. That's almost a gigabyte. And I'm pretty sure that this full CD of interviews, along with the next full CD of interviews, is going to push your Dropbox, the quantity of your Dropbox files over the edge. My recommendation is that we put these things up online and as a zip folder, and that we let the students, we have the students put their transcriptions in the Dropbox folder. That would be Word documents. I mean, if we have to share them, we could use Dropbox for that, and that would actually be very useful. And otherwise, I don't think there's going to be enough room. I think your limit on Dropbox is 2 gigabytes. So this CD combined with the other CD is nearly 2 gigabytes. It'll definitely push your Dropbox limit over. It'll push mine over. And I'm just trying to think of a way. I guess I'm being selfish, right? So I'm going to go ahead and zip this folder up onto the web. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to upload it so that people can download it. I guess I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. When you put something on the web, you have to, a folder on the web, you have to zip it. So I'm going to right click this folder, and I'm going to send to compressed zip folder. So it's going to compress it. I'm going to pause you while it does that. And here, coming back, you can see that it's still going. It's taking about, it said it was going to take about 4 minutes, but now it thinks it's got about 45 seconds. So it takes a little while because that's a lot of files. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and open up WinSCP, which is a free program. It's recommended by University of West Georgia's ITS department for doing what I'm about to do. So I'm going to open up WinSCP and log in to my FTP space. Now, using WinSCP requires some setup, and I didn't show you how to do that. If you need a tutorial on how to do that, I probably could find one. Okay, so now we have a zipped folder. I'm going to rename it. I'm going to take all the spaces out of that title. Okay, it's called cd1.zip now. You don't want to have spaces in the name of an online document. I'm actually rename it also in lowercase because it's better that way. Now I'm going to drag this folder to public HTML and copy. And that will take a little while. Even on campus, it's going to take a while because it's almost a gig. Doing this from home, it would take even longer because the distance is greater. All right, I'm going to pause you while it uploads, and then I'm going to create a web address for it that we can provide to the students to download it. I'll quickly show you how we make that web address. It starts with http://sun.wesca.edu. If you're a student, instead of sun, you put stu, S-T-U, / and then tilde, and then your username, because I'm uploading it to K-Hewitt's space. And then I put the name of the file. And if it's in any folders, if I had it in any sort of multiple layers of folders, I'd have to put those folder names first. But since we're just putting one object, this zipped file, up there, then it's cd1.zip. And that's the URL. And students are going to, they should be able to right-click, unless they're Mac users, and Mac users can figure it out. But, you know, right-click and save as to their desktop. And then they want to right-click again, or do whatever Mac users do. Some Macs can right-click and some can't. And they want to unzip, or extract might be the word that's used on their computer. Extract the folder. And by extracting, they're actually trying to get it back down to a folder that's called CD1, but it doesn't have a zipper on it, and it doesn't have the zip ending. So that's the goal of the student, and once they do that, they'll have the folder on their desktop, and they can open the folder and look at files. Okay, so the uploading process finally finished. That took about 5 minutes. I'm going to go into my public HTML folder where I put it. That's where you put all your files when you upload here. I'm going to hit the refresh button just to make sure that it knows that that file's there. I'm going to scroll way down. You can see I have a lot of stuff up here. I'm looking for that zipped folder by the name of cd1.zip. And there it is. And what I want to do, let me move this over a little bit. Alright, so it's right there. And what I want to do is make sure its rights look like all of these. Right now it's got RW dash dash dash. That means nobody else can access it. So I have to right click it, hit properties. On the octal I put 755 and I say OK. And now CD1's rights mean that other people can download it. And so now I'm going to just make sure, this is the last step I do when I upload stuff that I expect other people to download, is I go and I just check and I make sure that that link works. So I put the address in, hit enter, and this is what should open up, and I'm just going to show you how downloading works and how extracting. So pretend we're a student. This is what they do. They go to that link just like I did. And they'll probably want to save the file, not open it. You don't need to open it. You want to save it. Say OK. And then it's going to take a little while to download it. As you can see, it's a large file. It's 765 megabytes. So it'll take a moment for them to download it. I'm going to pause you. All right, we're almost there. Now this is going into my downloads folder. So I'm going to head over there. I'm going to right click and open containing folder. And eventually they'll probably want to put it on their desktop. I'm not going to put it on my desktop because I already have a folder by the same name and it'll get confused and ask me to rename things. But I will go ahead and inside my downloads folder just extract it. See how I have it selected? And often when you select something that's zipped, it'll have an option to extract, kind of obvious, but it's not obvious here, so guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to right click and say extract all. It's going to put it right into that downloads folder, as you can see right here. You could browse it to some other location. So I'm going to extract. And you go through an extraction wizard. I'm going to go ahead and stop this process. Oop, it's doing it. It's extracting. I'll pause you. Okay, so now if I go to my downloads folder, I have a new folder. It's extracted. It's called CD1, because remember the original zip folder is also called CD1, little and no spaces. I go inside there, and inside of that is the original, uppercase with a space CD1 folder. And it's okay that that has space. Remember I said we don't want spaces on the web, but it's okay if whatever's in the zip folder has crazy names. It's just the actual thing that the web server sees, that outside name that's in the web address, it doesn't like it when it has spaces or capital letters a lot of the time. All right, so there we have it. There they have all their files. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same process for the CD2 folder, and you'll have a link to both of those, and that's what they're going to want to do. They're going to want to go to that link and download that file and extract the folder from that zip folder. They're going to extract out of it, and then they can access all the MP3 files.